Students, welcome to the world of physics. Myself, Abdul Sajid Manas. Here, we are going to start our online classes, crash course for mathematics and physical science. Today, here, I am going to teach you one important topic of physics from class 10th. The name of the chapter is Reflection of Light at Curved Surfaces. After coming to 10th class, my dear students, when I wrote the name of the chapter Reflection of Light at Curved Surfaces, number of things coming in your mind. Please concentrate on the name of the chapter, Reflection of Light at Curved Surfaces. If I ask you what is the most important word after when I wrote this name of the chapter on the board, I think in your mind the word is coming, that is light. Yes. Why? Why light is important here? Why light is important here? Because if I talk about light, what is light? What are the properties of light? Maybe what are the characteristics of light? Because after knowing the light only, we can discuss about reflection and curved surfaces. Without knowing light, we can't talk about reflection and curved surface. Example, one boy is preparing for his exam and is sitting in one room. There is source of light and he is preparing seriously, and suddenly the light has gone. Can you able to see the objects, the book, anything which is there in front of you? No, he can't. Why he can't see those things? Because the God has given him the beautiful eyes. My dear friends, there is no light. If there is no light, there is no reflection. So let us discuss briefly about light. I will say that light is a form of energy. Light is a form of energy that enables us to see the objects. I gave the example that if light is an energy, this energy required for us to see the object around us. We'll say that our earth is so much colorful, our earth is so much beautiful, but when? Because of light. Yes. We know that light travels in a straight line. Light travels in a straight line. Light is energy. It travels in a straight line and light will cover the shortest distance. Light is so much clever. We have studied this point in our 8th class. When we are in 8th class, we studied this point. In which chapter? Reflection of light at plane surface. According to D. Fermat principle, he said that light travels in a straight line and covers the shortest distance. Light is so much clever. Light wants to cover the shortest distance. My dear students, light forms shadows. How can we say that the light will form shadows? Because when the light falls on opaque object, what do you mean of opaque? When the light does not able to pass to one opaque object, we can see the shadow of that object on the wall, maybe on the road, on any surface. Can the shadow will give the complete image of the object? Can the shadow? It is a black outline. It does not give the information about any object. Let us talk about one more point. If I ask you, what is the speed of light? What is the speed of light in vacuum? My dear students, what is vacuum? Vacuum means empty space where there is no matter. If there is no matter, just empty space. in which the light has been traveling. When a light has been traveling in an empty space, there is no matter the time. What is the speed of light? The speed of light in vacuum is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. What is the speed? 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Now, after knowing some properties of light, what is another most important word? That is reflection or curved surface. Before going to discuss about reflection, my students, let us discuss about what is luminous object. What is luminous object? Example, what is the difference between earth and sun? I can say the star, the sun, they are the luminous object. They have the ability to produce the light by their own. They have caliber to produce the light by their own. Means capable, they are capable of producing light. They are capable to producing light by their own. Example, sun, star, etc. Then what are non-luminous objects? Like moon, like earth? Yes. Non-luminous object. Non-luminous object. Nothing but not capable of producing light. Not capable of producing light, but it can be capable of reflecting light from another source. What do you mean of this from another source? We know that our earth cannot produce the light by its own, but we are dependable on someone. On whom we are dependable? We are dependable on the sun. Because when the sunlight will fall on the earth, the light reflects and the earth will shine. We say that our earth is so much beautiful only after the reflection. And the reflection is going on only when the sunlight will fall on the surface of the earth. And the same reflection we can see on the moon also. Whatever the light we will see on the moon, that is not the light created by the moon, that was the reflection. That was the reflection of the sun. Because when the sunlight falls on the surface of the moon, the light will reflect and we will feel that the moon also have light. So the moon, the earth, they are non-luminous objects. They cannot produce the light by their own, but they are dependable completely on the luminous object. So, what is luminous object? Capable of producing light. Example, sun, star, etc. Or a non-luminous object capable of producing light. Not capable of producing light, but it can be capable of reflecting light from another source. Means, here the example are earth, moon, etc. So my friends, you have clear now. It has been clear now the two things, what is light and what is luminous object and non-luminous object. Now the question is coming in my mind. So why are you not discussing about reflection? Now the time came to discuss about reflection. But already I clear one point for you. What is luminous object and what is non-luminous object. Let us discuss about reflection. Let us discuss about reflection. What is reflection? What is reflection? Example, one boy with a football, he's standing in front of the wall and he throws the ball on the wall. What happens? What happens? The ball will be collide with the wall. It will bounce and it will come back. It will come back on the same place from where he thrown the ball on the wall. So reflection is nothing but, it is similar to bouncing back of a football after colliding with a wall. How a ball, after touching to the wall, it will come back in a similar way. In a similar way, you studied in your previous classes, if you have a plane surface and the light falls on that surface, what happens? The light will reflect, the light will bounce, and the light will bounce, it will come back. So my students, what is reflection? Reflection is nothing but the bouncing back of rays of light from a polished and shiny surface. What do you mean of this? Polished and shiny surface. Because if you see one mirror, example, if you see one plain mirror, how it will look? You know that this surface, you can see the bottom surface, this is a hard surface I can say. You can say a hard surface, or you can say it is a coated surface. Coated or coating surface you can say. The upper surface which you can see this is a polished surface. This is a shiny surface. Example, if the light falls on it, this will be the incident ray. And from this point, the ray has been reflected. So this has called reflected ray. Reflected ray. If I draw one perpendicular line as a center between the incident ray and the reflected ray, that will call as a normal for both, for incident ray and for reflected ray. And after drawing the normal to these one incident ray and for one reflected ray, you will get two angles. Here, angle I and angle R. With the help of normal, we are getting two angles. What are that? Angle I is nothing but angle of incidence, and angle R is nothing but angle of reflection. So, what is reflection? The bouncing back of rays of light from a polished and shiny surface. So, how your surface is? Your surface is, this surface you can see, this surface is polished and shiny. This is polished and shiny surface. Okay. I'll give you one more beautiful definition to understand reflection in easy way. It is similar to bouncing back. It is similar to bouncing back of a football after colliding with a wall. After colliding with a wall. It means you studied in your previous classes what are the laws of reflection. Remember once again. What are the laws of reflection? Okay. Well, this I will write. Because the place is not sufficient. What are the laws of reflection? Remember, we studied the two important laws whenever we talk about reflection. The first one, angle of incidence. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Means angle I is equal to angle R. This angle I is equal to R. And the second one is the incident ray, reflected ray, and normal lie on the point of incidence. Rely on the point of incidence. What is the point of incidence? But this is the point of incidence. See, this is the point of incidence where you can get these three things we are getting here: incident ray, reflected ray, and normal. That is the common point of incidence. So this is the information which I gave you about reflection, and we discussed about laws of reflection also. Let us will go discuss now the third point, which I wrote in the heading of our chapter, reflection of light at curved surfaces. Let us discuss briefly about curved surface. Let us discuss about now curved surfaces. So before going to learn curved surface means a bending surface. See my hand carefully. I can show you two different positions here. Front side, you can see my hand in this way. If I turn like this, both the sides, it's looking like curved surface. But here, I want to talk about curved surface means here I want to talk about spherical mirrors. Here I want to talk about spherical mirrors. But before going to discuss about spherical mirrors, we have to know that what are spherical mirrors, what are they, how they reflect, from where they came, why they got this name. These all things we are going to discuss now about curved surface. Okay. Example, I have one big sphere. This is a sphere. What do you mean of sphere? Sphere means a round object. Yes. A round object. I have a knife. With a knife, just imagine some part of the mirror I have been cutting. Not full, not from the center, just some part. After cutting the part, what I will get? What I am getting? I am getting the cutting part, some part which I cutted. How it will look? It will look like this first. It will look like this. Maybe it will look like this. You have to understand. If it is looking like this, it's called what? If it is looking in this way, it is called as what? So first of all, you can see, this is, if I say this both parts I got from this big sphere. I have one big sphere, a round object, I cutted some part. After cutting this part, I can say about, this is your concave mirror and this is your convex mirror. But the question comes, what are spherical mirrors? What are spherical mirrors? So mirrors having curved reflecting surface. Mirrors having curved reflecting surface are called spherical mirror. Where is the reflecting surface? If I say this is concave, if I say this is convex, see the inside the curved surface, inside this spherical mirror, inside this concave mirror, I can talk about this is a reflecting surface. See this? And the outside portion is called as hard surface. This is the hard surface. If I talk about convex mirror, the outside surface is the reflecting surface. This is the reflecting surface. And the inside surface, once again, we can talk, that is the hard surface. So my dear friends, mirrors having curved reflecting surface are called spherical mirror. Or one more definition we can write in easy way. A spherical mirror is a part of a sphere. You know that? how we got our concave and convex. You have a ball, example. You have a rubber ball, and with a knife, some part of the rubber ball you have been cutted. Let us write the definition of what is concave mirror. We know very well that concave mirror and convex mirror both are the part of a sphere. So, what is concave mirror? A spherical mirror with reflecting surface, curved inwards. If this is your concave mirror, see, this is the reflecting surface inwards, curved inwards. The light is coming inside of the mirror. Because inside only you have the reflecting surface, and this is your concave mirror. Okay? So a spherical mirror, reflecting surface, curved inwards is called concave mirror. It's called concave mirror. Let us discuss about what is convex mirror. Now it's easy for you. Write as it is what you wrote in concave mirror. A spherical mirror with reflecting surface. It also has reflecting surface. But if this is your concave, turn in this way. Now it's become convex. Because now it is the outer part, the outside part, which you can see. This is the reflecting surface. So see here, a spherical mirror with reflecting surface curved outwards. See, curved outwards. This time also we have the reflecting surface for convex mirror, but this time we have outside, not inside. But in the first case, in concave, we have inside. Okay. So it's called convex mirror. It's called convex mirror. Now, we'll discuss the important terms in a case of a concave mirror. Important terms in a case of a concave mirror. Important terms in case of a concave mirror. So my students, how a concave mirror is looking? Yes, concave mirror, we know very well that concave mirror also called as spherical mirror because it is a part of a sphere. Which surface this is? Inside you have the reflecting surface, and the outside you have hard surface. Right on your hard surface. Let us imagine few terms here. Why are you talking about the terms for concave mirror? What is the reason behind to discuss about the terms for concave mirror? My dear students, you know that when you studied about plane surface, in the plane surface everything was easy. Because what happens in plane surface? If this is a plane mirror, what happens? If the light has been fall on the one point, that will be the incident ray. Then it has been reflected in opposite direction. Reflected ray. Yes? We draw the normal, the perpendicular line between incident ray and the reflected ray. And we are showing angle of incidence and angle of reflection. It's so easy. The laws of reflection is valid for plane surface, only for plane surface. Laws of reflection is valid only for plane surface, only for plane mirrors. Can it is correct? It's true. The law is valid only for plane surface. only for plane mirrors. No, not like that. The laws is valid for curved surface also, for curved mirrors also. But here in a curved surface, in a concave mirror, in a convex mirror, they are curved one, they are the curved surface. So everything will be not that much easy. Here also incident ray will come, incident ray will fall, reflected ray will be there, but we can't go directly here. Here we can't go directly. Directly the light is falling. Everything will become not that much easy to show, to prove our laws of reflection is valid for concave mirror and for convex also. So let us imagine what are the terms, and with the help of the terms we will make the laws are valid not only for plane mirrors, it is valid for our curved surfaces also, for our concave and convex mirror also. Let us know. I'll show you what is P here. What is the P in this diagram? P is nothing but pole. Pole means the midpoint, or pole is nothing but the midpoint or the center point, or the center point of a concave mirror. This is the midpoint. This is the center. If this is the part of the sphere, then this center is called the midpoint for concave mirror. Now, let us draw one imaginary line from here to here. What is this imaginary line? This imaginary line is nothing but, it's called as principal axis. It's called as principal axis. So what is principal axis? What is principal axis? The imaginary line or the horizontal line passes from pole to the center of curvature. Pole to the center of curvature is called what? Principal axis. So what are the remaining terms? Very center of curvature. Don't need to worry, we'll discuss now one by one. So now the next term will come here, F. That is nothing but focus. Let's start the third point, F for focus. What is this focus? I'll show you the example with the diagram. This is the concave mirror. Okay. This is the midpoint of the concave mirror. P for pole. Draw the principal axis. You know very well. This is the imaginary line. Passes from pole to the center of curvature. Here I am taking F. Let us assume the rays are coming from the infinity, and these rays are parallel to the principal axis. See, these rays are coming. From where the rays are coming? The rays are coming from infinity. How they are coming? They are parallel. See, they are parallel to the principal axis. They are parallel to the principal axis. And after falling on this concave mirror, all this incident ray, they reflect. They reflect, and what happened? They reflect and they meet at one point. See, all the reflected rays will meet at one point. That is called focus. Start. All the rays are coming from the infinity. See, they are coming from the infinity. And parallel to the principal axis. and after falling after falling on the concave mirror, after falling on the concave mirror, it reflects, and all the reflected rays will converge or meet at one point. Will converge or meet at one point is called what? Is called focus. So you understood what the meaning of focus? Now, next one is focal length. What is meant by focal length? So easy. The distance between, see I am writing here small f. Focal length is denoted with small letter f. The distance between pole and focus is called focal length. The distance between pole and focus is called focal length. Let us erase this definition and move to the next point. The last two terms to complete our topic. Now, let us mention C. What is C? We discussed in the principal axis. What is the definition of principal axis? The imaginary line or the horizontal line which passes from pole to the center of curvature. So actually, what is the center of curvature? We are discussing. What is meant by center of curvature? So center of curvature is a center part of a sphere. Center of curvature is if I draw one big sphere here, what will be the center? This one will be the center. So this is the center, is called as a center part of a, this is the center of curvature, is the center part of a sphere. Because you know that we are discussing here about spherical mirror, concave mirror. Okay. So what we did just to put some part of the sphere we have selected here. So if I join this complete part, then you know that I will get the center of curvature. So center of curvature is a center part of a sphere. In the case of a concave mirror, this is a concave mirror. So where is the center of curvature? It lies in front of the reflecting surface, because this is a reflecting surface. Yes. So I can say that in the case of a concave mirror, the center of curvature lies in front of a reflecting surface, is called center of curvature. So let us will complete our last term. What is that? R. R means radius of curvature. The distance between pole and center of curvature is called radius of curvature. So my dear friends, we completed our important terms in the case of a concave mirror. Now let us discuss important terms in the case of a convex mirror. Now I should erase this diagram and the radius of curvature point. Now, important terms in the case of a convex mirror. Remember how to draw a convex mirror. The inside surface will be the hard surface. This is one hard surface. And outside is your reflecting surface. Actually, no need to write this because you know very well what is reflecting surface and hard surface. That we are going for discussing terms now. Okay. Once again, the same similar terms we can discuss here also. P for pole, principal axis, focus, focal length, center of curvature and radius of curvature. Listen carefully. Why? Because now you should be able to write these terms. Just I will help you. I will explain these terms and you should write down in your notebook. What is P? P is the midpoint or the center point of this convex mirror. And after mentioning the pole, you should draw an imaginary line from pole to the center of curvature. This is the imaginary line or the horizontal line passes from pole to the center of curvature. Be careful in focus. Focus is similar to like concave only, but remember that here the reflecting surface is outwards. So I help you with one diagram. So it will make easy for you to write down the point for focus. This is the principal axis, pole, focus, center of curvature. Now once again the rays are coming from infinity, and these rays are parallel to the principal axis. After falling on this reflecting surface which is outwards, the rays are reflected and the rays got diverged. The rays are not interested to come inside. But why they do not come inside? My students, think this surface is hard surface. This surface is the hard surface, then why the light should come inside? I'm getting my point. So what to do? Let us extend this reflected ray backside of this mirror and with the help of imaginary lines and make them to meet on this focus. See, the light is not interested to come inside, but it's our interest. We are making the reflected rays should meet on this focus because we are talking about focus. All the rays instantly after falling on the convex mirror, they got diverged. They don't want to come inside, but with the help of imaginary line, we should make these reflected rays to meet behind the mirror on the focus. So you have to write down the definition for focus. Now, what is focal length? The distance between pole and focus. Once again, same what you wrote in concave mirror, same as it is. Every term is same here only. So distance between pole and focus is called focal length. Then what is C? Once again you know that C is nothing but center of curvature. It is the center of the sphere. This is a sphere. This is your center of curvature. So in the case of a convex mirror, the center of curvature lies behind the reflecting surface because this is your reflecting surface. So where is the center of curvature? It is behind. It is the backside of the convex mirror, behind the reflecting surface. Okay. The last one is radius of curvature. The distance between pole and center of curvature is called radius of curvature. So I am thankful to Leo Academy for giving this opportunity, a great platform for the upcoming 10th class students to attend the online classes, and with the help of this knowledge which we are sharing to you. So subscribe our channel. Best of luck. Complete your notes and complete this work which I gave you. Write down the terms which I explained you about important terms in the case of a quantity scalar. Thank you.